deposited this in the Masjid al-Islam account, 2014. Same thing, 15,000 something or other. If I took $24,000 out of that account, right, I didn't put 30 in already. I told her, you can see, this is 2016, of course. So he said I stole the people's money. I was embezzling. And at first I thought maybe he just was going crazy. I said, Mukhtar, all the money I get, I put it in Masjid al-Islam. I said, I don't have any personal. In fact, that time I had no Clarence Reams account. The bank always, if I had something in Clarence Reams that said Masjid al-Islam, Clarence Reams, I could put it all in there. Okay, y'all are here in D.C. You know, when I came to D.C., I had a little 73 Fiat, books, and when I left Oakland, I had books only and enough gas money to get to Canada for the Crescent program. And I sold $1,800 worth of books. So when I left Canada, I came here in June 1989. I had the books I had left over, and I had $1,800. So I went to book programs wherever they were in those days. I don't care. If they had one over by the airport, I'd go there. They had them. Wherever they had them. I mean, it didn't make no difference what state either. If I picked up something and they say something happened in New Jersey, fine. It was no limit to how far I would go. Because all I would have to do was spend gas money, which gas was pretty cheap at that time, it's a little Fiat. And I always slept in the car, so I didn't have an overhead. Okay, so if we came in 89, by 1990, I stayed out for a while in Manassas. While I was in Manassas, I would come in D.C. and do all my work, and then go back out there at night. But then over years' time, we done bought the little place around the corner on A Street. Within 4 or 5 months, if we bought it only for $30,000, but we raised that money here. And remember how the heating and air conditioning worked perfect then? We put in a whole new, the building was brand new. It was, everything was stripped down and new carpet, new heating, everything was brand new. It was like a new building. But we bought that with not a whole lot of donations. We bought that with book money. We were just selling books and running around. And we bought it with book money. In everything, y'all would remember when we was thinking a few years later, now we want to expand, right? We had a flyer, $200,000. And of course, people were laughing. Y'all in this little joint, you want to raise $200,000. Probably in those days, it did sound like a lot of money. It sounded like nothing else. $200,000. So we'll raise that. We'll hustle it up. So we sold books and hustled and raised funds also. But in all of that period, I never kept money for myself. A salary, I'm going to keep this for myself. In fact, the day I got married to Sister Bahia is the day I bought a mattress for that joint. We got a mattress. wasn't no stove, it wasn't nothing in there. So we, once you get married, you had a stove, a new fridge, you know. There was some, believe it or not, there was a refrigerator came in the house, it was a Calvinator. I don't know if y'all remember that. Or was it a Frigidaire? It was one of them original. It was one step above, remember the old time with the refrigerator stuff on top, y'all remember that, but they used to have all the stuff on top of the refrigerator. The cooling stuff. Then they went crazy and put it under the bottom. That's stupid because it generates heat and it goes up to the refrigerator. They put it on the top in the old days because they had more sense. But anyway, as time go on, we raised enough money to buy this place.
Not to cut you off, but you just reminded me of one of the fitness then, where I guess as you were raising the money, they talked about how you were using your money from your past experience, from your drug dealing days, and that created a fitna, you know, in the community.
Okay. Whatever it wasn't nobody else's. Right?
That's right.
If you break it in the house and fill it up the refrigerator, and you burglarize the house and fill it up the refrigerator, and the little piggy banks, all of them is full, what would you say? Hey man, burglarize mine. Right? So, of course it's a lie, but they don't understand hard work. You know what I mean? Those people have never, with books, I gave Mukhtar and them, y'all might be aware of it. I gave Mukhtar and Abdul-Malik free books. When I ordered the books from here, and I ordered what I got and I ordered for them. I don't know what they did with the books. I took oil, enough to make $40,000 wholesale. The car was sitting down in the back. You know them big cans of oil? I poured all them, they'd have at least 2, 3, 4 pounds a piece of each fragrance. And I took it out to Oakland. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know what they do with it. They drink it, they throw it out in the back. But no money from it. We pay for our books, we pay for our oil, but within a few years, we're the main book distributor in D.C. We didn't caught up with Halalco on books. I mean, you got to remember that little room. It would have books stacked up to the roof and stacked out almost where you can't get by. So it would be $100,000 worth of books in there, easy, with the door open all the time. Let's say we'd have now bought that. Of course, we'd have bought a little more property down the street. But we didn't bought that. We didn't bought the lot next door and joined it with the Masjid. All of work and hustling. Right? And when we move around here and get this place, we have to raise $300,000. Y'all remember the place? It didn't have nothing. So we have to raise that money. And out of all of this, we have had only one gift worth anything. One of our friends, out of the last 30-something years, dropped on us $100,000, something like that. That's not all those, technically it's nothing. If we had to raise $300,000 to fix this, what are you talking about? And then they said, well, first, let's go over where I would stay. I would stay in the back all the time. Because somebody else would let them stay around there to get the $500 rent. Right? So Ahmed stayed there a while, and Lil stayed there a while. We bought this for $25,000. This house. But we spent about $20,000. We went through it. Ramsadine and us, we went through that straight through. I told him what we need to do. He just said, well, let's do it. But I didn't stay there. Somebody else stayed there. Now, I still have a family, remember. Then we buy that building, $35,000, that house. We got lucky. I called one friend. I said, hey, we're going to buy a house. We need $35,000. I told each one of them a version of the truth. I said, well, we need 15,000. Said it's on the way. The other one, I said, well, we need 20,000. It's on the way. And it was 35,000. We bought it. But it cost, I don't know how much to remodel it. When we would buy it, we would go through and strip out all kind of junk. And technically, it would be a new house for that time. Where was we living in all this time? We got my granddaughter, Jamal's daughter, we got Sakina, who was about 7 or 8, and all that. We lived in the back of this building. That's 11 by 18. Do y'all remember that? That's where the family lived. That's where we lived. So everybody else could be a little comfortable. That don't mean the family not cheering all of this stuff. But how, you know, what would your wife say? They're living there, why shouldn't we live there? It's just normal, it ain't nothing wrong with it, it's just normal. But when we open that up, what's the name is upstairs, and we're in the basement. It's kind of watery all the time, but it's okay. Now, when I look at that, that sounds like a saint kind of, you know, they have saints, you know. That's what saints do. That's what the book says.
Piety.
Saints do that. Who is greater than to lay down your life for your brother or give before you, put everybody before you? Okay, I'm not bragging about it, but that's what I did. You know why? Because that's what I like to do. I like to do that. Don't nobody else like to do it, but I do. And that's what we've done. And out there, this coon has the nerve to say, you stole a believer's money. I said, which believers and which money did the believers? No. Now, you know, the other thing is, now y'all may have to do a little witnessing, and you know why? Look, remember sometimes we would have a situation with money, we say, we got $50,000 in the bank, our brother needed a little help. And we would, boop, 25, and off we go. It's okay. Then 25 to us may be a lot of money, but if you have certain lifestyles, $25 they gotta do you no good. And we help when we can, when we can. And we said, well, now our account is down to, I passed out the slip, $581. We just got busy and built it back up to about 100. When we got it to 100, I gave a lecture called 10% Rule. Y'all remember that lecture? 10% Rule meant this, is that we've been wanting to raise $1 million. When you at zero, $1 million, it's a dream. It's, oh man, brother talking about $1 million, right? But when you get 10% of that, $100,000, you can taste it now, you know what I mean? You're on the way. going to be somewhere better than where you was. You're not at zero. But if you're at zero, it's just words. It's a dream. But when you get 10%, that's a rule I use. If I want $1 billion, man, when I get 100 million, we're on a roll. Shoot, what you talking about? We just leave 1,000 million for $1 billion. We got $100 million, what are you talking about? It's almost finished. It's almost done. That's just a custom, a habit. Okay, we all know that here. All of our accounts was from here that had any money in them. He not only had no right, he never called here and asked, do Musa be stealing money out there? You know what I mean? He never called here for nothing. He just made accusations. He make accusations. Like all other stuff that I'll give anybody $50 if they can find any accusation that they've made over the last 5 years to be true. I'll boost it up to $100 because I'm feeling big today. If you can find one accusation to be half true, $200. Keep on, we'll get it up somewhere. To be anything they have said, to be anywhere resembling to, don't have to be a reasonable doubt. If you can find anything they have said to have any validity at all, $250. Then there's something else too. Remember our charter resolution, Philadelphia, 1995. Amongst other things, we resolve to take Surah An-Nisa, ayat 59, as our guiding principle of our actions. On that, everybody signed it. Top is Brother Tufail, down here is me at the end. The biggest John Hancock on there, look at that. Mukhtar Ali Mujahid, the biggest signature on there. Tell the truth, look at it. See that big signature in the middle? Mukhtar Ali Mujahid. You can get it close as you want. You can take it. That says Mukhtar Ali Mujahid. He signed a contract. That's a contract. And we have to go along with that, if I can just find it. It's an article that we wrote called Bayah, Oath of Allegiance. This explains what we have done. And there's no mystery about board of directors meetings and all that, because every Sunday, just like this meeting right now, at the end or before, we always talk about our business. Over on 8th Street, we had a Sunday meeting every Sunday, and we did Tafsir, Quran, all kind of stuff. But we also had our meeting. It was blended in. Does anybody want to add anything out? Anything into this? Anything you want about it? Want to clarify? Even at the end of these meetings, has anybody got anything to say to clarify? Any questions? So, they don't say board of directors meeting. But we're the functioning body. We always met on. We never did nothing. But since the community knew that out of every $10 we spent, I was hustling at least 9 of them, right? What's the sense? Ain't nobody knows that Imam Musa. We want to check on. Well, Skiskel now. Those Negroes came by. You know those big green ledger books that they used to have? Skiskel now. I call them Skiskel now because we was praying and you say, Sami Allahu liman hamida. And those Negroes said skiskel hum. That's what I call them, skiskel hum. Nothing, no nothing, no nothing. But they brought a big leisure. And I would be there by myself most of the time, so they'd bring their crew. And they thought maybe they would just take over the Masjid. They had several crews trying to take over. I said, no, we don't do that. I said, I gotta, they say, what we do is we count the money in the box. Then we write it down in the ledger. Then we give you the money. I said, shoot, y'all must be crazy. That's why I call them skiskel hum.
That's exactly what Don Hendry does now.
Hey man, them people is crazy. So, but look at this. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu atiullah atiya rasul wa ulul amr minkum. I'm just saying that because this is all in English. Oh, you believe, obey Allah, obey the messenger, and those charged with authority among you. If you differ in anything amongst yourselves referred to Allah, of course that's the Quran, and His messenger, that's the Hadith. And if you believe in Allah in the last day, that's best and most suitable for final destination. It don't say the first thing you do, jump up and make an accusation and go down to the police department and call them over and over and over again and tell them there's a man in a masjid that got guns. He's got guns. He's a killer. Oh, wait till you get the arrest records and the transcripts and all of that. It's better than this other stuff, but I'll give you that too. But anyway, so here's what they say about the fancy papers. Where are the minutes? If you're talking about board of directors, where's the minutes of the meeting? Because see, they done brought out the bylaws, and they tell them, we follow the bylaws. And the white folks got the bylaws, and they said, did you post meeting times and places 2 weeks ahead of time? No. So the bylaws say, did you follow the bylaws? That's what you said. You just told us